I asked, you guys delivered, so let's take a look at your LA hot takes. I will be looking at these in the order that they were sent in, so we will be starting off with @Layla where she says, hot take, LeBron should have went to the Golden State Warriors instead of the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, I actually do think there is some reasoning behind this. LeBron and Steph Curry would be a phenomenal duo and would put a lot of butts in seats. But to be honest, I'm going to have to say no to this one. I do not think he should have gone to the Warriors. I think he made the right decision to go to the 76ers. I don't think the Warriors window is that open anymore. I just don't think that they can stay competitive at the level they have been. Just because everyone's going to start declining relatively soon, including Steph Curry, even though he's a unicorn. And yes, it would be awesome to see them on the same court together, but going to the 76ers just gives them a way bigger chance to win right now. For pure entertainment purposes, sure, LeBron going to the Warriors would have completely broke the league. I mean, back in 2017. But anyway, I personally think LeBron made the right decision to go to the 76ers just because he's going to be able to win now. He's going to have a perfect role with them. And it's just going to be a really fun show to watch with him, like entertaining young players like VJ Edgecombe. That's going to be a really fun duo to watch right there. And also Tyrese Maxey, that's going to be a perfect duo right there. And Joel Embiid when he's healthy. Next up, we have the Baseball Kid 1924 checking in, and he says, hot take, Shohei Ohtani won't last much longer in the game. So while I do think Shohei won't last much longer as a two-way player, I do think he will last a lot longer just as a player in general, because I'm going to assume that's what you're hinting at here. So I do think Shohei will not be a two-way player for much longer. I would say 2-3 years max. But in general, I think he will stay around for the entire majority of his contract. He's going to stay a very good hitter. But I think he only has about 2-3 years left of actually being a two-way phenom. And honestly, that's fine because he seems to get injured a lot more when he's pitching at the same time. So I would just let him stick to what he does best, which is hitting, because I know he wants to win that Cy Young, but I just don't think he can do it really. With players like Mizorowski, Christopher Sanchez, I don't think he's going to be able to do it and sustain a high level, because he also has to hit, and that's going to take a toll on his body eventually. But I do think Shohei will stay in the league for a while, maybe get a little more injury prone, but I don't see a world where he has to bail early or go on the Chris Bryant IL stint. So I just personally don't see that happening, but I actually do like this take a lot, and thank you for submitting. Next up, we have Brick Motion Studios checking in, and he says, hottest take, the Kings will miss the playoffs. As much as it pains me to say this, I'm going to have to agree with this take, because simply put it, teams around the Kings got way better. Teams like the Sharks, they've bulked up their blue line. They actually have a competent blue line now. Celebrini's going to be another year older. Misa is going to be another year older. They just re-signed Colin Graff today. They also added some really nice wing depth like Mason Marchment. They drafted Ivar Stenberg. They also got Ryan Lynn, Keaton Vierhoff. They're going to be up soon. And the goaltending is really the only weak spot, but Askarov can figure it out. But the Kings, they didn't really do much to really separate themselves. They added a few solid wing depth pieces like Eric Holla, Matt Zuccarello, but that's not really going to make much of a difference and not really move the needle in the slightest to really have the Kings be a playoff team again. But also teams like the Nashville Predators even got better. The Winnipeg Jets are still a decent team. The Utah Mammoth will be very good. Even though the Ducks have gotten completely sabotaged, they're still going to be in the mix. And the Oilers got better. Vegas did sell, but they're not going to go anywhere. So I could actually see a world where the Kings do miss the playoffs and snap that streak of most consecutive years. So I hate saying that, but I really do think the Kings are not going to stand much longer. The goaltending's old, the forward group is old and slow, and unless Byfield takes a step forward as that 1C, it's not going to look that good for LA, even though the depth scoring is technically improved. Peter Laviolette will be a great addition behind the bench to run this team, but I don't think it's going to make much of a difference right here, right now, with how good these other younger teams are, these more developed teams are. So I'm going to have to agree with this take, even though it pains me to do so. Next up, we have George Foya, L2E, checking in. He says, Aaron Donald returns and leads the Rams in sacks over Myles Garrett. And he also said, side note, the twosome become the most feared in NFL history. Now, I'm a sucker for a hot take like this. because Aaron Donald, obviously, he's arguably the greatest defensive player of our generation, and him retiring left a gaping hole in the Rams offense. But I do remember when he said he would come out of retirement to play with Micah Parsons if the Rams got him. But now they have Myles Garrett, which is honestly like the guy competing with him for the greatest defensive player of our generation. So I do see a world where Aaron Donald does compete with Myles Garrett, but I think Myles Garrett's just too young, still in his prime. He's going to have more sacks than Aaron Donald if he returns. But Aaron Donald is going to be really good, I think. Even though he's had a couple years away from the game now, Myles Garrett's just way too talented. And I do agree, though, that the twosome will become the most feared in NFL history. Because, I mean, having the two greatest defensive players of a generation on the same squad, both rushing a quarterback with the other guys around them, it's going to be really disgusting to face. O-lines are going to have a really hard time. Quarterbacks will be under constant pressure. It's going to be a really feared duo. So I do agree with that part of it, but I do not think Aaron Donald will actually lead the Rams in sacks over Myles Garrett, just simply because one's been in the game for a while now, and the other's been away for a couple years. So I'm going to just say no to this one, but I really do like the idea of that happening. That'd be a really good story. Last but not least, we have Bridget Joan22's checking in, and she says, Dodgers collapse to Mariners on July 28th proves the Dodgers need to address bullpen help for a deep playoff run. I'm going to majorly agree with this take because the Dodgers really do need to actually address that bullpen. Sometimes Tanner Scott's inconsistent. Edwin Diaz is coming off of an injury. And players like Will Klein, they've fallen off a lot. Kyle Hurt hasn't been a good player this year. And really, you're running Alex Vesey and Jack Dreyer as your really two consistent players. So adding someone maybe at the deadline like Riley O'Brien from the Cardinals would be a very good fit for this team and what they're trying to accomplish. Or maybe you can even check out your AAA roster, see what you have there. Maybe try to give Jackson Ferris a shot, even though he's a starting pitcher. Just give him a long relief role, see what he can do. So I do think that this game did prove the Dodgers have a weakness on this roster, but I would say it's an easier need to address than something like second base, because the Dodgers do lack a second baseman right now that actually is a full-time guy. You could just use Tommy Edman there and you would be pretty set. But I do think that Tommy is more just a plug-and-play utility guy that you can just rotate in at shortstop probably, because that's another position that Mookie Betts has been great there. But you could technically move Mookie to second and trade for a shortstop as well. So I'm going back to the Cardinals. You can trade for something like Mason Wynn if you want to go that route. But I do think first the Dodgers should address second base and then maybe just add a depth pitcher, because I don't think we necessarily need Skubal, even though it would be very cool to have him. But besides the point, I do think Dodgers do need bullpen help. I think it's going to be very vital to their postseason success. If you can't hold a lead in the postseason, you're not going to win games. As soon as a player like Yamamoto comes out of the game, you have to trust those bullpen arms that they will hold down that lead and make sure that you win that game. And just the Dodgers are too vulnerable right now with guys that are injury prone there or just wildly inconsistent. Blake Trinidad's another example when he's healthy. Evan Phillips hasn't looked necessarily great since coming back after being injured. So I would say that this is definitely a major need for this team. And if they can address it, fantastic. If not, they should be fine either way. This team's going for a three-peat. So I do think something should happen in the bullpen, but I would target someone like Xavier Edwards first at second base to have a guy there that could just consistently be a full-time second baseman. It seems to me like a way better fit right now, I think. But I do 100% agree that collapsing to a playoff team like the Mariners it kind of did show the whole of the bullpen. Thank you guys so much for your hot takes. I appreciate everyone who participated. And if you want to be featured in the next hot takes episode, I will have you guys leave your comments down below in the description of this video so I can check them out, and we will do one by the end of each month, I would assume. So if you want to be featured again or want to be a new person in here, feel free to drop a comment about anything LA, and I'll see what you guys have. Thank you.